Hi, so this video is to teach you how to pronounce the names of certain Italian foods, and honestly it's a segue into Italian pronunciation in general, but obviously it's more fun to start with food. Honestly, this video is of no consequence. I am not Italian. I have never taken Italian lessons, but I do know how to pronounce certain like the combinations of letters and stuff. So this is just for fun, and it would certainly make you feel superior in an Italian restaurant, sometimes to your peers, sometimes even to the waitress or the waiter. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Obviously, since I'm not Italian, I would mispronounce certain words, and as with most languages, there would be, how do you say, inconsistencies in some ways. Like there are going to be certain words that are not following the general rules, even though I do think Italian is a pretty consistent language in general. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video and you find it informative. It was really fun making it. Thank you. How to pronounce the names of Italian foods. Oh, and like, by the way, there are so many photos in this video, and this is my first time making a YouTube video, which is not a school project. So please do not copyright me. I put all the links. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but yeah, that's what I did. So tip number 1 is to pronounce every single vowel in the word. So this food, which the first image, I think in English we would say caprese, but in Italian it would be caprese. I'm not really pronouncing the R correctly because my tongue cannot do that, but it's a bit similar to the Spanish R, so a little like rolled trill. The second word here is like minestrone. In English, I think we say minestrone a lot, but you have to respect the E at the end of every word, minestrone, and just emphasize every vowel that you would see. I think this is true for all Italian words, and yeah, it's quite simple. Tip number 2 is about dealing with consonants. So I think we have to emphasize every double letter we see. So risotto sounds like risotto because we put a stop right before the double T. Risotto. The same for pizza. You stop at the point before the double Z, and you also kind of take your time when you've reached the letter Z. The third word here is soup, like the Italian word for soup, which is zuppa. Zuppa. Yep, and as I've mentioned before, there is a kind of rolled R sound, which I can't do. So just keep that in mind if you can do it. The third tip here is about pronouncing words that have the combination GN and GL in them. So for the GN combination, you pronounce it very similarly to a Spanish ñ sound. So you kind of act like there's a Y after the N. So lasagna, I think a lot of people know how to pronounce that already. You just apply this rule to other words that also have GN. So in English, what we call bolognese is actually bolognese. As for GL, you act as if the G doesn't exist. So in English, sometimes people say aglia e oglio for this specific type of like garlic and olive oil pasta, but in Italian we'll say alia e olio. Very simple, just acting like the G doesn't exist. And this specific type of pasta in the fourth, in the picture below to the right, would be tagliatelle. Tagliatelle. Fourth tip is about pronouncing the CH and GH combinations. So whenever you see a CH and GH, it means that you would pronounce a hard C and a hard G. So for instance, what we call in English a pistachio, in Italian would be pistacchio. I know this is kind of counterintuitive to what we know in English, because in English, if you have a CH, it's like a ch sound. It's the opposite in Italian. It would be a kia sound. So pistacchio. As for GH, so this picture here is a dish called pesce spada alla ghiotta, which is swordfish in the style of ghiotta. So as I mentioned, it's a hard G, so ghiotta. Here is a little midterm quiz. How should we pronounce this food pictured below? So I've taught you how to say GN, and I've taught you how to say CHI. So maybe you could take a while and think. So it's GN, which is nya, so it would be nyo, and then the CCHI would be ki, because it's a hard C, because there's an H. So this food is called gnocchi. Gnocchi. The next tip is about pronouncing the CCI and GGI combinations. So if you see a C or a G preceding a vowel which is honestly I think mostly an I, and there is like basically no H in between because it's directly like C and then I or G and then I, this means it's a soft sound. So for cuatro, for magi, it's pronounced as I just said it, and the ice cream called stracciatella is pronounced as I just said it. So it would be useful to kind of compare CCI and GGI with the aforementioned rule in Rule 4, which is like the CH and the GH sounds, which would be hard by contrast. Tip number 6 is how you say she. So this is a SCI combination, and this platter that we see below is called prosciutto. Prosciutto. So as a recap, you pronounce every vowel. When dealing with consonants, you pay attention to double letters. You keep in mind how do you say GN and GL, how you say CH and GH, and how you say CCI and GGI, and also how you say the sh sound, so CSI. And as a bonus, if a food ends in I or E, it's going to come in more than one, because I and E are the plural forms of words that end in O or A. So if you see that you'll get cafe with biscotti, it means that you would get more than one biscotto, which means biscuit. So thank you very much for watching this video.